the basis of a freedom lifestyle, of living with good energy, abundant money, living how you want to live, starts by protecting your currency of energy. So you want to actually stop investing so much time and energy. And this goes against what everybody else teaches you. But whereas entrepreneurs will tell you hustle, 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 look at the people like Warren Buffett, investors like that. Warren Buffett is 85 years old. Do you see him hustling for 10 hours a day to make that money? No. And people might say, well, the business is different. You've got to work at a business. You've got to put more time and energy into it. You have to put some into it, of course. I'm not saying you do nothing at all, but most people are putting the too much energy into the wrong things, and they're working too hard instead of too smart. And what an investor told me, I sat down with a friend of mine who's an investor and lives in that residency that you just saw the photo of. And he's made millions as an investor over the years. He owns businesses too. And I was telling him a couple of years ago about this brand new business project I was doing. And I laid it all out to him. I was so excited as an entrepreneur. I'm going to be doing this and this live event, and I'm building this marketing funnel, and I'm doing these adverts, and I'm connecting with these people and doing all the things. And he stopped me and he said, Justin, when you're doing all that stuff, how do you find time to make any money? Like, where does the money come from? Okay. And I realized I'm doing all these things and it wasn't giving the return I should give. And he warned me. He said, Justin, investing too much time and energy into a business is the stupidest thing you can do. And it goes against what everybody else says, but I found it to be true in my experience and by operating with investor principles. So instead, okay, like I said, investing effort can be ineffective for a few reasons. So first of all, as they explained to me in terms of investment economics, your time cost grows as your effort grows. So this is what we call a viral cost. So think of it like this. If I put energy into something, that's one of my currencies in my bank account, I'm putting energy into a job. That means I have to automatically put time into that too. So that is now depleting 66% of my currency, okay? And the way he put it to me was like this. He said, think of the earth and the earth's natural resources, right? So he said, let's say we have water and we have oil in the earth, both resources that the world functions on. And he said, imagine every time you turned on a tap to consume water, imagine that oil was depleted from the earth at the same time. That would be a viral cost. You're using one, but it depletes another. And this is why entrepreneurs are getting so burned out and so overwhelmed. They've put all their effort in, so they're tired, and they've put all their time into it, so they're overworked and busy. But as I mentioned before, the second reason putting effort as your main source is that it's dependent on your emotional state. So if your business depends on you having to go out and do sales pitches every day, if it depends on you having to do live events every week, if it depends on you having to turn up and coach the clients all the time, you're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position. Because one flu virus, if you're a hairdresser, if you break your arm tomorrow, what happens? Your income dries up. If you're a fitness professional, you break your leg tomorrow. And this actually happened to me because I had built up a fitness business here in Cyprus years ago, and it all started to go very well for me. And I was earning good money, a low six-figure income, but I was working with all my clients 8-9 hours a day, and I didn't mind it. This is the thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't work long hours. I enjoyed it. And I know many of you, maybe you work long hours and you enjoy it. But what happened with me was my mother actually got a brain tumor at that time. She lives back in the UK. and I had received the news that she'd had a brain tumor and needed immediate surgery. So what happens to my business? Well, I realized I never had a business. I had a job. And as long as your income depends on you trading time and effort, you have a job, not a business. If your business can't generate income without you being there, you cannot call yourself a business owner. And that's the difference here. It's not hard to hear, but it's the truth. So I flew back to the UK. I spent 1 year back in the UK. My mother recovered. Fortunately, she got back on track. And eventually I returned out here and I started again with a whole new mindset. And I went back and I started the gym up again, got my fitness clients back in. But this time I vowed that I would never have the business, my income, depend on my time and energy. It was too much of a risk to me and to my family. And if you, any of you watching this, if you have kids, if you have a family, people depend on you, or if they depend on your income, then by doing all the work, you might think it's the right thing to do. You might get a sense of pride out of it. You might think you're doing the right thing, but in the long term, it's not the right thing. It's not the best thing if other people especially depend on your income. It's in your best interest, therefore, to stop investing so much time and energy and to withdraw and start doing a different approach, which is what I'm going to share with you, on this training. So I hope that makes sense to everybody, first of all. I know it's very different.
Let's find out, Justin, if it makes sense. Are you guys ready to raise your hand if it makes sense? Yes, it looks like it does make sense because you've got loads of hands up. So yes, they're with you and very keen to learn more.
Good. Okay, so I know I'm resonating with a lot of people, and because I've just been in this position myself and I've made all these mistakes, so you can learn from my mistakes. So here's what to do instead, as the investors taught me. You want to learn to leverage your time. You're going to spend some time in your business, okay? You can't be, there's no real such thing as sitting on a beach, pushing a button, and money pops into your account, unless you are a 100% investor. Investors can do that. But if you're a business owner, there is going to be some other work to do in the meantime. And you want to learn to, if you're going to, whatever time you put into your business, you want to learn to leverage it, which means you're going to get the biggest return possible for the smallest amount of time invested. I'll show you some ways to do that in just a bit. You also then want to learn to outsource your effort as much as you can. Don't use your energy for physical hard work. Use other people's energy for that.